Somehow, some way, it found the back of the net. Costa Rica, that's right, Costa Rica, off that 7-0 drubbing at the hands of Spain, picks up a 1-0 victory over a Japanese team that, how could we forget, stunned Germany in the opener by a final score of 2-1. And there you see, for the first time in World Cup history, a team has won after losing a game by 7 or more goals. Herc, your thoughts?
Production thinks they're funny putting Brian Reese on that graphic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You hate Brian Reese?
No, he didn't play today. And I don't think there'll be many Costa Ricans.
Maybe he's the only person that we have a nice picture of.
My thoughts. Am I surprised?
Give Luis Fernando Suarez his flowers here after you killed him last game.
No.
Give Costa Rica your flowers after you buried them last game.
Costa Rica, sí.
Okay.
You talk about no traicionan su estilo. They don't desert or they don't
abandon the way they do things.
They don't betray or abandon their DNA, the way they do things. This was them in World Cup qualifying. I mean, it was like 5-4-1, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
It was, let's be just disciplined. Let's be dogs in the back. Let's just defend.
And not go forward at all.
Really not go forward. I mean, there was their first shot on goal in 2 games, and it ended up being the goal.
Yeah.
Right, Fuller's goal. And Fuller, who was playing a right wing back, found himself in that position. And I still think the goal deflects off the Japanese defender.
Look at that heat map, by the way, for the Costa Rican
team. And it off-puts the goalkeeper, I think, because it was a very strange shot, found itself in the back of the net. And then, per usual with Costa Rica, you need Keylor Navas to be big. You need Keylor Navas to be the Keylor Navas of old. The Keylor Navas before he was benched at PSG. The Keylor Navas who's one of the most underappreciated players of our generation, one of the best goalkeepers of our generation. You needed that Keylor Navas to step up in the biggest of moments, and he did. And he was there. But everything else, typical Costa Rica fashion. And Luis Fernando Suarez, hey, at least the subs were somewhat young today. At least there was no Brian Ruiz trying to give you fresh legs. Bennett coming off the bench, these players who could provide something going forward, some legs, because you have to roll up your sleeves, you have to fight. From that standpoint, I like what Costa Rica did. It was presentable. CONCACAF, their first victory of what is this World Cup. But if you're asking me to give Luis Fernando Suarez his flowers here, oh, man, he's part of the reason that we're in this.
You mentioned Keylor Navas. He makes 3 saves in this game. Japan obviously kind of bossing the game. Lots of possession, lots of opportunities. Keylor Navas needed to have a big game, didn't, because he was the one that was in the middle of the controversy, not just for his poor performance against Spain, but because of what happens the night before, right? The Instagram Live with him and the guys out, it's a huge controversy. It doesn't look good, does it? If there was ever a moment where Navas needed it, it was here. I was shocked that was even a story after the first game. That was, for me, if I was a Costa Rica fan, I would have been so disappointed in the team and in Navas in that light. They had to have a bounce back here, almost out of a point of pride, because I think even with the goal difference now as we see it, it's cooked.
Pero no. I don't really know how big of a controversy that was in Costa Rican circles, if I'm being honest. I mean, were they out all hours of the night getting drunk? No, I didn't see any alcohol. And where are they going to get that alcohol?
Yeah.
You've been here in Qatar. You know how difficult it has been for us to get alcohol. Yeah, and I don't think they're at the restaurant in this five-star hotel. Excuse me. So I don't know how big of a deal that is. But what I will say is, I don't think Keylor Navas himself, nor us as fans or pundits, are used to seeing Keylor Navas in this position, where he's the scapegoat, where he's being criticized, where he's the one at fault. Because that was the case versus España, versus Spain. Asensio shot the ball literally right at his chest, and he pushed it in. And that's a Keylor Navas, has to be saved type of shot. Keylor Navas of old closes his eyes and saves that with his elbow. That's a reality. There's nothing in me to not think that Keylor Navas would be the one making that type of mistake. But because we know this about Keylor Navas, we're used to this, we're accustomed to seeing this, we expect great things from Keylor Navas, even with that Costa Rican team, that Costa Rican defense. Listen, Duarte still played, Waston came in, but it was still a very shaky defense. It was still like, bend, do not break. He was still the big-time player he's always been for Costa Rica. Can he be that again in the biggest of all games versus Germany? Whew, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, to the point about Navas, we made it last show, right? His last start at club level was in May for PSG, so maybe that first game was a little bit of rust. I don't want to say nerves because he's such an experienced player. Do you think Japan, having beaten Germany, disrespected Costa Rica a little bit? They made 5 changes from a team that obviously worked so well against the Germans. That surprised me. I thought Japan would stick with what worked. Although, to be fair, a lot of their success against Germany came in the second half after some subs were made. But still, to see 5 changes from a 2-1 win over a 4-time World Cup champion. To me, that says they looked a little bit too much into that 7-0 that was hung up on Costa Rica.
Yeah, maybe they looked a little too much into that 7-0, but the spine is roughly there, right? The spine is roughly there. They just changed some things on the outside and the 9. That said, you probably don't make those wholesale changes if you think Costa Rica is not a team you're just going to run over. And listen, Japan almost escaped out of there with the win. There was the red card. That was.
We'll talk about that in a second. Let me ask you about the goal, though. I've seen the replay a million times, and I can't see a deflection, but I'm convinced there's a deflection. Or is it just bad goalkeeping from?
No, you know what? I'm convinced
Gonda.
it hits the Japanese defender.
Japanese
yeah,
goalie.
I'm convinced it hits the Japanese defender, and Gonda's already in the air when it gets deflected, so it off-puts him.
Yeah.
It's
like when a guy goes up for a rebound, and it bounces twice on the rim, and he's just kind of
He's already in air.
Yeah.
So he's trying to do, because he attacks it with 2 arms. You don't attack it with 2 hands, excuse me, unless you're absolutely certain
you're
going to catch it.
If you're at full stretch, you're going to palm it away. Yeah.
So that to me was indicative of maybe there being, that there was a deflection. That said, these things happen, right?
You put it on goal, good things happen, right?
And it's the first time they put a shot on goal.
Exactly. A lesson learned there for Los Ticos. Let's talk about the key moment of the match. Francisco Calvo, 70th minute. I think it's Hiroki Ito, who's in. It's only a yellow card given to Calvo. It's his second of the tournament, so he is going to miss the next game. Do you think it should have been red?
So Calvo will miss the next game, right? So essentially he's sacrificing himself for the team here.
Yeah.
He knows next yellow he's out. Here's the thing. Ito is literally going in towards the box and about to shoot. He's not. There are 2 defenders, so it doesn't make it last man, but they're far enough where he gets the shot off. It's a clear look on goal. To me, it's a denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. It should have been a red, to me. I don't care if there are 2 players beyond him. That's a shot on goal. That's about a 17-yard shot, maybe 16 yards away on Keylor Navas, unopposed. A little further back than a penalty kick. To me, that's a goal-scoring opportunity. Now, Kylian Mbappe had something similar yesterday.
Yep.
Full head of steam, midfield, 2 Danish defenders, so it's not last man. But if he's not fouled, meek. He's going 1v1 with that goalkeeper. The distance between him being at half field and the goal comes into play, no red card. Now the distance should come into play. It should be a red card.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.